and welcome to my channel. My name is Alice and today I'm going to show you how I draw a face. This is what my faces look like, and I'm going to break this down for you into really simple shapes and relationships because I actually have aphantasia, so I can't visualize things in my head, so I rely entirely on shapes and visual relationships between other things. So hopefully that will help you. You're going to start by drawing a big circle on your page. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, it's totally fine, and then we're going to split that in half vertically. We're going to draw our line a little bit longer than the actual circle and put a little bit of a line at the bottom, and this is going to represent our chin. Then we're going to split our circle in half horizontally, and then we're going to split that part in half horizontally, and then draw just a little line right at the bottom of the circle. These are going to represent where all of our mouth and nose and eyes are going to go. We're going to start by loosely sketching in a mouth shape, and the bottom lip is going to be touching that bottom line that we drew, and then I draw in a circle right below the mouth shape for the chin. For the nose, I'm going to draw a small triangle from the bottom of that line, and then extending upwards, I'm going to draw an elongated triangle, and then just draw some kind of straight lines right next to that triangle going down to the edge of the triangle below it. I'm going to split the top part up into 3 equal sections about the width of the nose, and that's going to help define where our eyes are going to be and our eye sockets. Once we've established where our facial features are going to go, we're going to start establishing the shape of the face. I'm going to draw 2 little lines on either side of the eyes, and then I'm going to draw a diagonal line coming up from the jaw and connect those 2 lines. One thing that I like to do is create this diamond shape that establishes where the cheekbones are and where the jawline is. This really helps me with establishing that bone structure. Once I've done that, I'm going to put a little line about an eye's height at the top of the head, and that's going to establish where the top of the head is going to be, and then the top of that circle is going to be the hairline. I'm going to then draw these upside down L shapes at the top of the eye sockets, and that will help us establish where we're going to put our eyebrows. Using a darker colored pencil, I established the shape of the nostrils following along that short triangular shape that we made before. Then following along the center line, I create a slight little mustache shape to establish the front of the nose. Then I draw 2 diagonal lines just at the ends of the nostrils and a little U shape right below it to establish where the philtrum of the face is. I'm also going to add 2 little lines to define the nose a little more. This will help it look more 3D. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in just a little circle to represent the shine on the tip of the nose. Then I'm going to trace over those straight lines that we made earlier with a slightly curved line just to establish where the nose is in distinction to the eye socket. This is going to curve up into the eyebrows. Then I'm going to draw a very elongated oval shape just on the center of the nose to show where the shine of the nose would go. I'm going to start detailing in the eyes a little bit more. I start with a very light semicircle, and then I dip in a little bit for the inner corner and then do another kind of more rounded semicircle on the bottom. It's a little hard to describe, but you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I also use the outside of the nostrils to establish where the inner corner of the eye should go. I'm going to draw a slightly diagonal line up from those inner corners to the up from those corners of the nostrils to the inner corner of the eye, and that's how you know kind of where the inner corner of the eye should go. Then I'm just going to draw a circle for the iris, and you want to make sure that this is either partially cut off by the top or the bottom of the eye. Your character is going to look very scary if your iris is just a circle in the center of their eye. And then we're going to work on the lips. So drawing a diagonal line down from the center of the eyes will help me establish where the corner of the lips is going to go. And then I draw a slightly elongated, very subtle mustache shape where it dips down in the center to create the center line of the lips. And I just kind of tweak that till I'm happy. And then I go in and draw another U underneath the little philtrum U that we drew. And I'm going to make that a little bit less curved and then connect that down to the center line. For the bottom lip, I draw 2 little circles to establish where the lips puff out, and then I just draw a little upside down kind of mustache shape below it. Then I'm going to start establishing the chin just on that line that we sketched out beforehand, and I like to kind of draw a little bit of a line under the chin, and then I go to the sides of the face and draw down and then pull that in to connect to the chin. It's kind of how I like to do it, and I try to keep the curve of the jawline a little diagonal to the corners of the mouth. So you can kind of have it line up exactly with the corners of the mouth. You can have a little diagonal down, but don't have the part where the jawline curves, don't have that above the corners of the mouth because that's going to look strange. I'm also adding a little bit of a flare outwards at the start of those cheekbones, and you can see where those cheekbones start because of that diamond shape that we drew earlier. So you're going to slightly flare out around that diamond shape. Then we're going to create a pretty dramatic diagonal in for where her hair is, and I'm just going to really quickly establish some hair shape. This isn't a hair tutorial, so I'm just focusing on the shape for this, but I find it's helpful to add in a little bit of a shape. And then we're going to draw the neck just slightly inset. It's not as skinny as you think it is, and actually in this tutorial I did draw it a little skinnier than it actually is in real life. So I'm going to now establish those eyebrow shapes using that upside down L as a guideline. And I like to think of this as when I do makeup. So basically you're going to draw a diagonal line up from the corner of your eye, and that is where your eyebrow will end. You're going to draw a straight line up from the inner corner of your eye, and that's where your eyebrow is going to start. And then the arch of your eyebrow is going to be a slightly diagonal line from the center of your iris. So that's kind of how I draw the eyebrows. Once I have that all settled out, I go in for my final layer with a dark colored pencil. So for this example, I'm using dark brown, and this is where I'm going to start adding more details such as the eyelashes, the inner corners of the eyes, and the lash line. So to add the lash line, I do the lower part first, add in the little inner corner line, and then I just very lightly trace that bottom line around to create a little bit of a lip, and this just kind of adds a little bit more realism to what you're doing. I like to jump back and forth from the right side to the left side for each step. I don't complete one eye and then complete the left eye, or complete the left eye and complete the right eye. I will do the eyelashes on the left eye and then do the eyelashes on the right eye. The iris on the left eye, the iris on the right eye. So I like to go back and forth like that. It keeps things a little bit more even. And then for the eyebrows, I actually use the shape that we created earlier as a guideline, and I go in and I add in individual strands for eyebrow hair. And I like to do 2 or 3 layers because eyebrow hair doesn't grow in just one layer, it grows in multiple. So by doing that and kind of giving them cross directions, you can create a more realistic look and a more full and volumized look for the eyebrows. It's just kind of how I like to do it. And I almost always forget to put in the crease of the eye. So if the character is going to have a crease of the eye, I tend to put it in right after the eyebrows because I'm like, oh wait, I've got to do that. So I usually put that on the inner corner. If you want your character to have heavier lids or droopier lids, then you can also put a little bit of a line on the outer corner, and that will make those eyelids appear heavier. And obviously some people don't have eyelid creases at all. For the rest of this video, I'm just going to speed real quick through because I'm basically just tracing those lines that we established earlier. I'm not changing anything or adding in any additional details, just tracing them. And I do apologize for a couple parts where the pencil just goes off the page. I kind of forgot that I was zoomed in, but that is how I create the face. Oh, one last thing that I did not show you guys yet, and that's how I draw the ears. So I'm really lazy with my ears, but I just go up a little bit and then draw like a semicircle down. You want them to start right around the eye and end right around the bottom of the nose. These are a little low, so the lower you draw the ears, it'll look more like they're looking up, and the higher you draw the ears, it'll look more like they're looking down. And I just use 2 curved lines to define the inside of the ear. And that is basically how I draw a face. I break it down into these different shapes and relationships between the shapes. I'm not a perfect artist, and this isn't a perfect face by any means, but I hope that this tutorial helps you. I've had a lot of people ask about this tutorial, so if you liked it, then definitely give it a thumbs up, and I will definitely make some from the 3/4 view and from the profile view if that's something that you're interested in. Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear, and thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys!